Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ready to dive into the world of Bitcoin? We're talking about a journey that starts with a mystery, and it seems like you're here to go beyond those headlines, really get to the core of what makes Bitcoin tick. We've got the perfect starting point for this little exploration. A new HBO documentary, and luckily for us, there's a fascinating article about it that really digs into the enigmatic origins of Bitcoin.
It's funny you should say enigmatic because this documentary, it really dives headfirst into that mystery surrounding Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, almost like the ultimate whodunit of the tech world, wouldn't you say?
It really is. I mean, think about it, 2024, and we're still talking about this supposedly world-changing technology that emerged back in 2009. Yet the brains behind it, this Satoshi Nakamoto, remains completely anonymous. It's crazy. You'd think, in the age of digital footprints and, everyone and their grandma being on social media, it'd be impossible to stay hidden.
Right. And what's fascinating is it wasn't just your average run-of-the-mill privacy thing. Satoshi was meticulous, like incredibly careful, communicating only through these cryptic messages, online forums, emails, stuff like that. Laid out this entire framework for Bitcoin, but never, not even once, revealed their true identity. Then, poof, 2011 gone, vanished without a trace.
Like a digital Houdini or something. So this HBO doc, they're trying to unravel that mystery, right? I think they've finally cracked the code of who Satoshi Nakamoto really is.
They've put forward a pretty compelling case pointing to this cryptography pioneer named Len Sassaman. And what's eerie is Sassaman tragically passed away in 2011, the same year Nakamoto disappeared.
Whoa, hold on. This is already sounding like a movie plot.
Okay.
So back up for a sec. Who was this Len Sassaman, and why are they pinning this whole thing on him?
Well, picture this. Sassaman wasn't just some tech whiz. He was deeply involved in this movement called cypherpunk, which is where things get really interesting. Think digital privacy crusaders back in the 80s and 90s, really ahead of their time. These were people advocating for cryptography, digital anonymity, all that stuff, long before it became mainstream. They believed that tech, especially that kind of tech, it could empower individuals, challenge those big power structures.
Makes you think, if Bitcoin was all about decentralizing power, creating a financial system that was more private, wouldn't someone from that movement be a prime candidate?
Exactly. Their ideals, they lined up almost perfectly with everything Bitcoin stands for. And on top of that, this Sassaman, he was brilliant, one of the best cryptographers out there. He even developed some privacy tech that's eerily similar to some of the concepts behind Bitcoin itself.
So wait, are they saying he created this revolutionary technology and just disappeared? I have so many questions.
Right, it's a real head-scratcher. But here's the kicker. Even if we never definitively solve the mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto, there's no denying the impact of what they created.
Makes you think, like this mysterious figure hiding in the shadows, potentially changing financial history forever. It's kind of poetic in a way. But hey, speaking of impact, Bitcoin's reach, it goes way beyond this whole captivating origin story, right?
Mm.
I mean, we're talking about a tech that's infiltrated global finance, sparked endless debates, even found itself on the world stage.
Absolutely. And you want to talk about impact. Look at its value. Even after all these years, the market swings, people saying it's going to crash and burn. Bitcoin's currently trading around, get this, $61,700. That's some serious resilience.
Like a little engine that could, huh? Just keeps chugging along, defying all the odds. But what's fueling this constant interest? Is it just regular people, taking a gamble, or is there something bigger at play here?
Oh, it's definitely gone way beyond those early adopters. One of the most interesting trends, I'd say, is the influx of institutional investors. We're not talking about your average tech-savvy folks anymore. This is the big leagues, hedge funds, asset management firms, you name it. They're all adding Bitcoin to their portfolios now.
So no longer this fringe asset that those Wall Street guys used to scoff at.
Not a chance. I mean, just look at the rise of Bitcoin ETFs. Makes it super easy for these big players to get a slice of the Bitcoin pie without actually having to own the underlying asset. And guess what? They've seen a recent inflow of, are you ready for this? $26 million. That screams confidence to me, seeing that kind of money flowing in from the big dogs.
Wow, $26 million. That's wild. You know what else blows my mind? This whole Bitcoin mining thing. Remember when we were talking about CleanSpark, like way back when?
Oh, yeah. CleanSpark, those guys are killing it in the Bitcoin mining game. Their recent surge in hash rate, that's a huge tell about Bitcoin's growing influence, you ask me.
Okay, time out for a second. For those of us who aren't fluent in, crypto speak, what exactly does hash rate even mean?
All right. So imagine this. You've got a giant Sudoku puzzle, right? But instead of numbers, it's crazy complex cryptographic problems. Miners like CleanSpark, they're basically super-powered computers working 20/47 to solve these puzzles. And the hash rate, that's basically how much brain power, or I guess computing power they're throwing at it. CleanSpark increased their hash rate by 187% in the last year. They're going all in.
So it's kind of like a digital gold rush. Companies investing insane amounts of computing power to mine these Bitcoins.
Bingo! You got it. Just like gold, Bitcoin's got a finite supply, 21 million, that's it. More miners join the party, difficulty goes up, need more computing power. Fascinating, isn't it?
Totally. But it's not just the financial world
Yeah.
that Bitcoin's turning upside down, right? This thing's become a hot topic in the political arena too, hasn't it?
No doubt about it. 2024 U.S. elections right around the corner. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, let me tell you, they've become quite the political football.
It's crazy how something that most people probably didn't even get a few years ago is now something politicians are being grilled on. Like, Bitcoin's gone from 0 to 60, straight into the political fast lane.
It really has. And you know what? Voters are paying attention. Almost half of U.S. voters now, they say a candidate's stance on cryptocurrency. That's a major factor when they're deciding who to vote for. Seriously. Wow, that's huge. So are we actually seeing politicians take a clear stance on this? Or are they shying away, because it's such a complex, potentially controversial issue?
I think they're realizing they can't just sit on the fence anymore. It's too big to ignore. Our research shows that a whopping 62%, almost two-thirds of voters, would actually consider switching sides, crossing party lines, to support a candidate who's on the same page as them when it comes to crypto.
Talk about a wake-up call for politicians, right? It's like Bitcoin shaking up the political landscape right alongside the financial one. And hold on, it's not just the politicians and the Wall Street guys feeling the heat. Even celebrities are jumping on the bandwagon. Remember a couple years back when Logic, the rapper, dropped $6 million on Bitcoin? Made headlines everywhere. Oh yeah, that was huge. And you want to know the kicker? That investment, it's probably worth over $20 million today. Talk about a good return, right? Though, gotta admit, it does show how volatile this whole thing can be.
Totally a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Makes you wish you'd bought some Bitcoin back then, huh? But seriously, I feel like celebrities have actually had a big impact, right? They've made it more mainstream, less like this weird geeky thing.
Totally agree. You got folks like Logic, 50 Cent, even Eminem dipping their toes into the crypto world that brings a whole new level of attention, even a coolness factor that traditional financial institutions just can't touch.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it. Bitcoin's gone from being this mysterious code whispered about in online forums to a full-blown cultural phenomenon. We're talking music, movies, even political debates. Quite a journey, to say the least.
From those early cypherpunk ideals to the forefront of global finance, pop culture, the whole 9 yards Bitcoin's evolution is something else.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Feels like we've been on a wild ride today, unpacking the enigma that is Satoshi Nakamoto, diving into Bitcoin's impact on everything from Wall Street to the elections, and even touching on its surprising ties to pop culture.
And even after all that, we've barely scratched the surface.
Exactly. It's exciting. The story of Bitcoin, it's still being written. How will it keep evolving? How will it change the world in the years to come? Big questions. But hey, that's for another deep dive, right? For now, for our listeners who are ready to go even deeper down the rabbit hole, that HBO documentary we mentioned, definitely worth checking out. And who knows, maybe someday the truth about Satoshi Nakamoto will finally come out. Until then, keep exploring, keep asking those questions. And as always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.